Hey, hey, hey. I hope all of you are well out there this Saturday. It's Saturday morning still here in the United States. For those of you in Asia, Europe, you're 6 hours ahead, some 5 hours ahead if you're in Switzerland. But if you're in Southeast Asia, then yeah. So I think a 12-hour difference. Isn't it interesting, all these time zones? So I want to, I'm going to talk, get started here in just a second. Anyway, sometimes due to storms, our Wi-Fi our internet gets messed up. But I'm going to be talking on this subject, how you can have a mentor anytime, and any mentor, anytime, and for free. So that's when we think about it, if you, of all the people that you admire, and they fall in different categories or genres, if you will. You know, for example, one of my mentors is Tony Robbins. So for me to be able to have Tony anytime I want access to him to get some coaching, that would be incredible. Or you might think of, you know, John Maxwell. He's another one. He's very famous in his books on leadership. And again, what drives network marketing, despite what you've heard in the past, where the focus is on customers, it's really leadership. You know, so if you look at the superstars in network marketing that make gazillions of dollars, right? Then I can tell you how they did that is not through customer acquisition. It was leadership acquisition. Wouldn't it be great to have John Maxwell available to you anytime if you really felt like you were stuck in an area in leadership that you needed to improve, or you wanted to share information to your team that you think is important, that your team could really benefit from that information, and you could get it for free. How could you get Tony Robbins for free? How can you get John Maxwell for free? And the list can go on and on of people that maybe you admire. Or it could be especially network marketing, right? How would you like to have some advice from Eric Worre? Available at your fingertips as a mentor to get him to give you some advice about what to do, maybe somewhere where you're stuck. Maybe where you're stuck and you don't know how to get unstuck. Or you got a problem in your team and you're not really sure how to handle it. What would Eric say? Or what would Fraser Brooks? We were just, I don't know, a month and a half ago in Dubai, and I had a chance to have some coffee with Fraser. It was really great moment. But anyway, what would Fraser say? Or what would Jeff Altgilbers say? What would he say to help you, to give you advice anytime you want it? Now, and get it, and again, you get all this for free. How is that possible? Well, it's possible because of ChatGPT, okay? ChatGPT. That is one app that you need to have on your phone and or on your computer where you can log in and you can use that. Now in the past, we've mostly used it, I know I have done this because I'm not the best when it comes to spelling, right? So I have used it as far as, like, if I'm getting ready to do a post, I can say, please check spelling, grammar, and if I need some emojis, and I'll say, add some emojis. And then boom, it'll give me exactly what I want. What's great about all these tools I mean, you got to remember, when I started in network marketing, it was before computers, it was before cell phones, it was before fast shipping, it was before the internet, all that stuff. So I have been through this evolution of change in the network marketing profession. And again, the basics never change. The basics never change. The skill set. It's just the tools. That's it. And as the tools evolve, if you get smart and and use them. You don't have to be a genius. You don't go to college. You don't have to take these long training courses. I've never taken a training course on ChatGPT, okay? I know enough not to make me dangerous, okay? That's it. I just want to know enough. And so, anyway, but if you use these tools, it will improve your business greatly. That's what I've seen. For example, I can remember back 27 years ago, 26, 27 years ago, when I joined 4Life. I'm losing track of time. How many of you out there have ever been in a company more than 5 years? If you have, just put 5 in the chat. And you can put how many years you've been in. You may not be in 4Life. You might be following me and you're in another company. That's fine. But but think about it. When I go back, if I go back to the 80s, I can remember when we had a VCR, and if you don't know what that is, Google it. A VCR, I could pop a tape in and sit with a prospect and let my upline sell them in the business. It was very different. We had cell phones that were the size of walkie-talkies. It was an amazing time. And when we did presentations, we used slide projectors. Let's fast forward now into the 90s. And then now we had conference calling. Man, that was phenomenal. Because prior to that, in the early 90s, because I'm talking about in the latter 90s, but in the early 90s, everything was done by venue meetings. You'd have to call somebody, say, hey, get a room, a free room at a restaurant, gather some people together, I'm going to come and do a meeting. Or it's done at a hotel, or it's done in someone's house. And that was how we did it. But I can remember in 1999, wow, that was different, or 1998, conference calling was the hot thing. And we also had this hotline where you could call an 800 number. It's a recorded message, and a doctor explains the product. And in this case, it was Dr. Rob Robertson for our company explained transfer factor. And in 5 minutes, he would sell you. But that was it. With that tool, and with conference calling, inviting people to get on a conference call and listen to a meeting, from my table, I built a team of 800 people. Yeah, 800 people. Yeah, 26 years ago. Think about it. I never left the driveway. I never saw one person face to face. Because I said to myself, I want to build with speed. When I started in the company, I said, I need speed. I need to grow fast. And I can't do that driving all over the United States and Canada, meeting people and doing meetings. It'll take too long. So what did I do? I leveraged on a tool. So as a result of that, not having done one venue meeting, not having seen one person face to face, in 90 days, I had a team of 800. It forever changed my life. What did I do? I leveraged on the methodology at the time, which was, conference calling and hotlines and things like that. It was awesome. But fast forward, here we are now. Would we do conference calling? No, we do Zooms. And sure, we still do venue meetings. Face-to-face events where people can gather and experience something is far superior to anything you can do virtually. That's a fact. But when you can't get together, it's a great supplement. There's nothing like it. But, excuse me, but now let's talk about this. Let's talk about, again, how you can have a mentor anytime you want, and anyone you want And let me also say this. Some of you may not like your upline leaders. This has always been a historic problem in network marketing, is getting people where you don't have issues with your upline, right? It happens all the time. And it throws a wrench in the wheel. And leaders move very slow. They move very, 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 very slow because they're too emotionally upset over somebody in their upline who did something, or they're not getting any support. How do you fix it? Again, ChatGPT. Now, we always, again, use it for posting, things like that. You know, check our spelling, grammar. I know I'm the worst, okay? So, always used it for that. But I just was curious, so, excuse me, I'm going to give you an example. Let's just say that here's the question. Let's just say that you wake up one morning and, like me, you're having coffee, right? And you're just thinking about reasons why people in your team aren't moving. What can you do to help your team? Okay, that's the question. So you're having your coffee and you go to ChatGPT, and this is what I typed, okay? I was just curious. I didn't know what it was going to say. I didn't know. I said, what are some of the reasons why people don't perform in network marketing? So what are the reasons why some people don't perform in network marketing? Now here's another question that I end it with. And what would Jeff Altgilbers tell them? I don't know what it's going to say. I have no idea what it's going to say. Here's what it says. And I'll read it to you. It says here, great question. Especially since Jeff Altgilbers is a well-known figure in the network marketing world with decades of experience and a no-nonsense but encouraging style. Let's break this into two parts. Common reasons people don't perform in network marketing and what Jeff Altgilbers might say to them. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so is everybody ready? Is anybody out there? Okay. I am going to go out into my garden and do a little work today, but I thought before I did that, I would jump on and do this. Okay? So hopefully you get value from this. Okay? So here's what here we're going to address the first question, why people don't perform in network marketing. What's really interesting is how ChatGPT has been gleaning from my YouTube videos, my posts in Facebook over the last, I don't know, how long has Facebook been around? I don't know, 17 years that I've been posting. And it draws or gleans from things I've said. So here's the first thing. The reason why people don't perform, lack of consistent action. Consistent action. And it says, many people treat it like a hobby. How many of you have ever heard me say that? I used to be a hobbyist in the 1980s, in the early 1980s. I said it so many times. And that's the first thing it went after, because I've said it so many times. Many people treat it like a hobby rather than a business. They get excited at the beginning, but don't stay consistent with daily income-producing activities like prospecting or following up. I've said this so many times. So again, this could be helpful. I'm just giving you an example of how you could help yourself, help your team. Here's number 2. Fear of rejection. Fear of being told no or being judged by friends or family holds people back from reaching out and sharing their opportunity with them. Yeah, we've talked about this many times through the years. We try to look cool. We don't want to look different. But the fact is, if you want to be successful in your life, you have to be different. Oh my gosh, look at everything Elon Musk has done to be different, and look at all the mud that some people are throwing at him. It's amazing. How he's working on technology to cure blindness or quadriplegics so that they can walk again. But you know, he takes the mud, man. He does. He's amazing. But I look at our business that way. You cannot try to fit in and be normal and be a successful entrepreneur in network marketing. So let's go to the 3. How many times have I talked about this? Unrealistic expectations. I've talked about this subject so many times. Some join thinking it's a get-rich scheme. When they don't get fast results, they discourage and quit. So yeah. So again, I'll expound on that point, that before you joined in the business and got involved in network marketing, you had a job. We used to call that just over broke. It's right. It's really true. So a job. So the thing is, network marketing is different. You're not going to come in with a fixed wage. In fact, you're going to not make as much in the beginning. That is for sure. Greetings from Hungary, Jacob. Nice to see you. And you're the first person that spoke up on this call. Congratulations. Anyway, so the thing about it is, people come in and they have big expectations in the beginning, and when it doesn't happen fast enough, they quit. Again, your life in a job is, your income is pretty much fixed. Look what the cost of living, how that's affecting it today. Inflation, everything. It just continues to dwindle. In network marketing, if you work it, it continues to spiral. Let's go on to the next one. Another reason why people don't perform, lack of personal development. I've talked about personal development through the years so many times. Network marketing requires a mindset shift. People who don't invest in personal growth often stall out when challenges hit. That's right. You know, you cannot outperform how you see yourself. I want you to think about that. If you see yourself as not successful, if you see yourself as a person that doesn't deserve a better quality of life, and yet you got in this business to try to change that, but you have that mindset, belief, you're not going to perform. That's why personal development is critical. It's critical because it's going to help you face your demons. And you got to challenge those demons. That's what I had to do. And I'll tell you, the thing that made me nervous the most is when my income kept growing. When my income was growing, I was cool at $20,000 a month, $30,000. But I remember many years ago when it hit 100,000, I was like, I'm not worth 100,000. That's the mindset. I thought, I'm not worth 100,000. I hope the company doesn't know that. They might quit sending the checks, right? So when it got to 200,000, I was like, okay. So that's the thing. Mindset, and that's the reason why personal growth is so important. Because, anytime somebody would say to me, I remember back then in those years, somebody would say to me, wow, man, you're such a great leader. And I would respond back. I said, well, that's because I have a great team. I had a real problem accepting praise. I was never comfortable with it. All I wanted to be was me. And who was me? See the drums in the back? That's me. The long-haired hippie boy from high school. Okay? I didn't want to change who I was. Who I am is what I am. And so, again, it's getting, when you commit to personal growth, and then you change your mindset. And I remember the owner of our company saying to me, David Lisenby, when we were backstage one time, he put his arm on my shoulder. He said, you know what? Everything you're making, you deserve it. And then I thought, wow. Hey, Ridwan, good to see you, my friend, in Singapore. That's a great leader right there. He's incredible. So is his father, Sadiq. But the thing is, I had to go through a lot of changes. Personal growth helped me do that. Now, had I not committed to personal growth, I wouldn't have made those changes. Again, let's go back to what holds people back or why they don't perform. Here's the next point. Poor mentorship or training. You know, it says if someone's upline isn't supportive or there's no clear system to follow, new reps can feel lost. And again, if you don't have a training system, you can reach out to me, especially if you're in our company, but because we have a very clear path. But for those of you that are not in our company, but you can go to ChatGPT and ask that very question. If I needed a system to be successful, what would Jeff Altgilbers say to me? Or what? And you can look at that, and you can also say later after that, what would Eric Worre say? What would Fraser Brooks say? And Fraser's really strong in social media, so if it's a social media question, he's a great one to go to. You know, that's what I'm saying. The people that are successful in this profession are simply the people that use the tools. That's all. I mean, think about it. This house that I built, just imagine if I only had a hammer. If that was the only tool in my toolbox, could I have this house built? No way. It's going to take more than a hammer. You're going to have more tools in your toolbox. And some of those tools that you're using, it could be WhatsApp, it can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, it can be TikTok. Different tools that you're using. And then you got apps that will do certain things. Okay, fine. Tools we're talking about. But ChatGPT, and there's different AI tools out there. But I'm telling you, the professionals are all using ChatGPT, and I'm talking about the number 4 version. And if you have ChatGPT, if you haven't upgraded it to 4, upgrade it. Okay? So let's go on. Here's another one, why they don't perform. How many times have you heard me say this? You know, it's amazing how much ChatGPT knows about me. I hope it doesn't know everything. Okay, not treating it like a business. People may not understand the importance of tracking, budgeting, reinvesting, and long-term planning. I love that. I really do. Because you have to treat this like a business. I'm amazed how many people that are in my team and they don't treat it like a business. If they have to spend some money on it, they're like, oh my gosh. But I'm going to tell you, before I got involved in network marketing on a serious level, again, when I was a hobbyist with network marketing, I had a business, I had employees. I had to spend money on my business all the time. There were products I had to inventory that workers had to use. I had trucks on the road, and I had to maintain those trucks. There was so much expense in it all. And then there was the time that went with it. People come in network marketing, it's like, oh, you mean I got to spend some money? Really? Go to a Tony Robbins event. It'll be the best thing you ever did. If you can't do it physically, then virtual is not so great. I mean, it's not as good. It's better than nothing. Or with Eric Worre, you know, it's, you know, GoPro Mastery. The one we had in December, I spoke at that event. It was incredible. And it's cool when you're on stage and you got tens of thousands of screens all wrapped all around you and people all around the world. I mean, it's amazing. But you go to that. You do it virtual if you can't go there. But what I'm saying is you're going to have to invest in your business and invest in yourself. What books are you reading? I just posted one in my stories about longevity of life, and I forget the title. Anyway, it says don't die from something stupid. Okay? Anyway, incredible book. But anyway, invest in yourself. Or for example, I was amazed that I'll run ads in different countries to support my leaders. And I won't say which country in respect to these leaders, but some of the leaders, and I can't stop Facebook and Instagram or Meta from showing an ad to my own distributor base. And again, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for specific leaders who are reaching out saying we need help. But it was amazing that in one country, they got all upset about it. Like, why are you competing against us? I'm like, what? I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for leaders who've asked for help. They're using my face. They're using my book. It's a free download. Okay. And these people that are answering the ad are not on your contact list. Why are you upset about that? And then, okay, I'm going to take the high road. And I said, I'll open this up to you. Feel free to be part of this ad campaign. But just understand you got to pay for the leads. When I said that, no one was interested. Really? When I started in 4Life 26 years ago, I was running a full page ad in a magazine because back then we had network marketing magazines. No, it wasn't for free, but anything of great value is not free. You're going to have to pay for it. And that's what we did. I spent $2,000. I would get maybe 9 other leaders involved, 10 of us, cost $200 each, and we split the leads. And those guys were in my team too. Amazing. And that was how I started. Anyway, but it's amazing when people have to spend money on their business, they get diarrhea over it. You need to grow up. And this brings, let's go to the next one. And this is the last one. Procrastination and distractions. Life gets busy, and without a strong why and discipline, it's easy to put the business on the back burner. It's another reason why they don't. Now, we're going to go to what it said. He said, ChatGPT said, let's break this down into 2 parts. Common reasons people don't perform in network marketing. We just covered those 7 points. And what Jeff Altgilbers might say to them. And I have no idea what ChatGPT is going to say. And this is what it says, what Jeff Altgilbers might say. Jeff is known for his tough love. What? Really, guys? Have I been that tough? I apologize if I've been that tough. It did say tough love, though. I guess that means I'm brutally honest with you. Okay. Jeff is known for his tough love, yet inspiring approach. Here are a few things he might tell someone who's not performing. Number 1, I would say you're not in a race, but you are in a business. And that means showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Actually, I've told my sponsor that. I remember one time when I was asking him to do something, he said, I don't feel like it. And I replied back, what has that got to do with it? So yeah, I think ChatGPT knows me too well. I have said that in the past. You show up even when you don't feel like it. That's the difference between the winners and the whiners. That's the difference between the 1%ers and the no percenters, is showing up. Henry, good to see you. Henry in the Philippines. Here's the second thing I would say. It says, everyone starts as a beginner. You learn by doing. If you're waiting to be perfect, you'll wait forever. How many of you have heard me say that? ChatGPT has been going through my Facebook content. That's an amazing technology. It's really true though. And you've heard me use the analogy. It's the difference between people that go to a football game. There are two different types. The kind that sit in the bleachers, and these are the experts. They read all the books. They've been to the training. They know everything. And then there's the ones who get on the field and actually play the game. They play the game. And my friend from Africa, thank you. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but thank you. They play the game. They learn by doing it, not by sitting in the bleachers and watching it. And so that's the best way to learn. In network marketing, it's just simply about mastering the basics every day. Talking to people is one of the basics. And anyway, so let's go to the next one. Your success, this is something else I would say, according to ChatGPT, your success is on the other side of your comfort zone. Talk to one more person, then one more after that. Keep doing it. Really, it comes down to that. How many people are you talking to? Now, here's the problem with people. Even in my team, around the world, in 57 countries, people in my team, some of these leaders that have ranked are at a significant rank. And now we develop an entitlement to the rank position where we don't do the dirty work anymore. Prospecting people, I don't do that. My downline should do that because I am at this rank. That's for them. It's not for me. I don't get dirty anymore. I paid the price. Even me. I talk to people when I'm out in public, face to face, in a restaurant, wherever I meet them. It doesn't matter. I talk to people. And I talk to people online. It's not that I need any direct leaders or distributors. I don't. I don't need to sponsor anyone direct to myself. I give them away. But you have to lead by example. And you have to be relatable. And your people need to see you as an example of that, or they'll quit. Think about it. If you're not prospecting and you're not introducing people to your opportunity, and your people see that, because you're never talking about it, you're never posting about it. Hey, I had an incredible conversation with someone I didn't even know, and this is how it went. And you're not doing that. Then they're not doing it. And if you're not sponsoring, and they're not sponsoring, and nobody is sponsoring, let me tell you something. It won't be long. You're going to rank back. They're going to rank back. And everybody, and you're going to hear these people say, network marketing doesn't work. No, you didn't work. You didn't do the work. I've been in this game 47 years and I still do the work. People say, oh my gosh, I heard that, you work it for 5 years and you never have to do it anymore. Who sold you that? Because you didn't hear that from me. Tell that to Elon Musk, who sleeps in his factories. He's that dedicated to what he's doing. And he's busy trying to run a government, to clean a government up, to stop the waste, the fraud going on. Maybe we'll pay less taxes. We hope. He's an amazing guy. How committed is that? But look at Warren Buffett. Warren's in his 90s, still showing up at the office. Still very much engaged in his business. Successful people never retire. Now, does that mean you don't have a life? Of course you have life. In fact, he gave us the life we wanted. Time with our family, time with our children, time with, I still get to play my drums, to do the things you're passionate about. But you'll never keep those things or enrich those things if you quit doing the basics, the things that got you where you are, that got you to where you were successful. You quit doing those things that got you there, and now you think that's beneath you. And I know anybody on this Facebook Live wouldn't do that. I'm talking about the people in your team. You quit doing those things, game is over. And so, anyway, so I decided to expound on that point, though. ChatGPT, I'm sure, knew all that. Now, here's another one, and there's only a few more. I love this one. And this is something I would tell someone else that's not performing. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Stay in your lane and do the work. Don't you love that? Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. What does that mean? A problem. How many of you suffer from, is there such a word as comparitis? Comparitis, where you're comparing yourself to someone else. And you feel bad about it. They're doing so well and you suck. They're achieving great things and you feel like you're going nowhere. You got to understand that how many years has that person been in the business or been in the profession? And maybe they did a lot of things before they joined the company. They enriched themselves with a lot of relationships. And so when they joined, people followed them right in the business. Maybe you didn't have that advantage. What does that mean? You can't be successful? No. You master the basics. You do the basics and you do it consistently. It may take you longer to achieve success, but you will be successful. So the thing is, you have to understand they've been in it longer. So you're at chapter 1, okay. They're at chapter 20, doesn't matter. You're going to come to chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, if you persist. I love it. Stay in your lane and do the work. Now, here's the other one. If you're not getting results, look in the mirror. This business doesn't fail people. People stop working the business. Again, it goes back to what I said. Some people get at certain rank levels and then they quit doing the basics. They quit doing the things that made them successful. They think that's beneath them. They don't get dirty anymore. Yeah, don't do that. Now let's go to the next one. And this is the last one. Find a mentor, plug into the system, and keep your vision bigger than your fears. I love that. Keep your vision bigger than your fears. You have to do that. I can remember when was that? 1993, when I was bankrupt and broke. And I used to go down Dream Street. And my mentor, I bought these cassettes, Tony Robbins, Personal Power. You can get that on YouTube for free. And if you haven't listened to it, you need to. There's Personal Power Day 1, Personal Power Day 2, 30 videos that used to be cassettes. If you don't know what a cassette is, Google it. Anyway, I would listen to a cassette every day and take notes. And I would go for walks thinking about how I was going to apply it. But on Sunday, I would go down Dream Street, where all the rich people live. Some of these houses that were built 150 years ago. And just beautiful. Beautiful, manicured lawns, gardens, everything. And I would think to myself, yes, this is the way it's going to be. And this is the way my life is going to turn out. And that house with the pillars, yeah, I'm going to have a house like that. The one with the rose garden and perennial gardens. Yeah. And I'm going to have a gardener too. The house with the Mercedes in the driveway, I'm going to put a BMW next to it. And I would rehearse that every Sunday. Your vision has got to get bigger than your fears. I'm broke at the time. And I'm driving a horrible car. And, all I had was vision. But the thing is, some people call that the law of attraction. The book didn't exist then, but that's exactly what I was doing, though I didn't know it. I was rehearsing. And it was like I was telling myself, you don't have to worry about this anymore. You're going to have an incredible life. You're going to have all these incredible things. Just do the work. Don't worry about it anymore. Your vision has got to be bigger than your fears. So true what it just said there. And maybe I gleaned that from one of my posts years ago. So that is you. And so, and I like what it says at the end too. It gives me an idea. Would you like this turned into a motivational script? Maybe that's what I should have did today. Or a social media post. It's asking me that question. So this is an incredible tool. This is how you can chat GPT, and I'm talking about the fourth version, ChatGPT 4, okay? That should be on your phone. You should have that on your computer. Learn how to use the tool. It'll help you with your postings. When you don't know what to post, I don't use it for that, but because I seem to know what to post. But a lot of people don't. And they don't know how to use social media properly. This is a great guide for you. And under this context, what I'm talking about today, maybe when you're lost or you're stuck, and all of you know, if you had to list the top 3 reasons why you're not where you want to be right now, and you wrote them down, and you went into ChatGPT and say, what would you do? And what would Jeff Altgilbers say? Or what would Eric Worre say? Or what would Fraser Brooks say? You're going to be amazed, and you can have a coach anytime. Or if you're stuck in personal development, I have a fear of success, like I did. I got very uncomfortable when my checks or my income started getting large, very large. I got very uncomfortable with that. What would Tony Robbins say? What would he say? You could have Tony Robbins in your hands any time of day to help you with personal development. Again, network marketing never changes. The basics are what makes this work. But what helps us are the tools that we use. And our tools have changed for the last 30 years, 30 some years. The tools have changed. And that's okay. They should change. We want them to change. We want to be progressive. And it helps us to be progressive. It helps us to grow. But it amazes me how many people don't use this. And they don't use it right. Don't be like the way I was in the beginning. Well, check for, punctuation, spelling, grammar. All the baby stuff. That stuff is fine. You should. I remember on one post I had, this was fun. I had, my spelling was wrong on 4 different words. How can you screw that up in one post? Well, I did. And this guy made a comment to it. There's no way in the world this guy is successful because he has misspelled 4 different words. And when I read his comment, I busted out laughing. I was not offended at all. I laughed so hard. And I said, thank you very much. I'm going to make that correction. But if anything, what I loved about it was it made me the most relatable person out there. Because if someone as successful as I have been and am right now, that I praise God for it because he gives me everything. So everything is his, and I certainly give back a lot. But if I could be that person and make those kind of mistakes, then I'm relatable to anybody. So I was proud of that. But at the same time, I thought, okay, I'll work on that. But now I don't have to worry about that anymore. But anyway, I hope you got value from this. I hope you have a great Saturday evening if you're over in Asia, an early evening if you're in Europe, and here in the United States, it's early in the day. Enjoy your day. Those of you in South America, Latin America, however you want to say that, welcome all you friends. I hope all of you are successful. And as George, my friend in New Jersey or New York, depending on where he's at, always reminds me to mention to you, if you haven't gotten my book, Reaching the Peak, it's on Amazon. If you are broke and you want a digital version, feel free to message me. I'll send you a free copy. Some of you like paperback books, I understand. So you can get that on Amazon, Reaching the Peak. It was an Amazon #1 bestseller in the category network marketing when it was released. Anyway, everyone, have a great weekend. I love all you guys. Take care.